Welcome to the Honest Hour. I'm your host, Luis Acevedo, and got a few things I want to talk about today. Just trying to get some live streams in because things are going to be changing up next week pretty big. Won't be doing these in the day anymore. So there's that. But we will still be doing some of them in the evenings during the weekdays. But my main focus is going to be moving on to MOT Ohio, which I'll be doing live streams of that every Sunday. So if you're in Ohio or you're just interested in Ohio news, make sure you follow MOT_Ohio. But today, the topics that I want to talk about and bring people in for conversation is USA should copy Hungary and Russia's family policies. Trump betrayed his people. In Great Reset, why are you afraid? Then we have a comment here. It says Fed Glow. Trump 2024. Why? Why do you want Trump in 2024? What is he going to do in 2024? I mean, is it just because you hate Biden that much that you want Donald Trump back in office? Or is there a reason why you want Donald Trump back in office? Trump gave secrets to Russia. I don't know about that. I mean, where's the proof? I don't fall into that. Trump betrayed the world. How so? Since he got raided, I think he will go 100 harder than his first term. What do you mean? Bro's beliefs change once a week? No, not at all. Do I change my opinions? Yeah, I can change my opinions, but there's things that remain solid. So his son-in-law got $1 billion from Saudi Arabia. Okay. I mean, Joe Biden's family did that too. I mean, a lot of politicians do that. Joe Biden has done twice as much for this country in the 2 years and four. Can you elaborate, Kingfish? You're allowed to change your mind. Yeah, I'm aware. Changing your mind is actually a good thing, especially when new information comes your way. But I've always remained consistent on my position with Trump. I've remained consistent with my position on the Great Reset. Do you have someone in mind besides Trump? No, I don't have anybody in mind besides Trump. I don't think there's any good options for president. I probably won't be voting for president for a long time. $10,000 in student debt relief. Yeah, I like that policy if it was actually forgiveness, like if he just canceled the debt, which he could just cancel the debt, but I don't know that he's doing that anymore. Getting Mexico to pay $1.2 trillion for border security. Is he, though? Love how you asked for proof, but with Trump, no proof required. I don't know who you're talking about. Trump was literally the best president the USA has ever had. I do typically agree with that. I do think that Donald Trump has done a lot of good for the country. As far as policies go, getting us out of these globalist deals, bringing energy back to America. But at the same time, he wasn't a good guy. Tell me one policy that Trump passed that helped America. I mean, the tax cut kind of helped people out. I mean, I got more money from taxes. I think his border policy was good. How did Trump betray his people? Well, because if you think about what happened in January, he did not support them. He called them terrorists. And then he told people to get the jab. Great reset. Why are you afraid? Yeah, why are you afraid? We're paying more in taxes now than we have in 20 years. Okay. Trump ran the country as a business and set the blueprints for future presidents. What do you mean? He printed more money than any president ever. And we're all still under Trump's tax code now. Yeah, I think until 2025, but there's some. No, I don't know. I think, yeah, no, actually, I think you're right. Okay. Yeah. Why can you not spell afraid? Ignorant munch. Yeah, okay. I mean, get over it. The United States is a corporation. Some people don't know that. Yes, true. Only a liberal could say Trump spent more money than Biden. Only somebody with a half a brain can look at the money supply increasing more than any president ever under Trump. Does that mean I'm a fan of Joe Biden? No, not at all. I think the dude's sick. I mean, have you guys seen the letters that came out between his daughter's diary about what he did to her and all that stuff? Disgusting. Trump spent almost $6 trillion more dollars than Biden has. Yeah, but let's give Biden 2 more years. Let's see what he does. But it was the start of a global pandemic. Of course, it's funny. Holy. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Trump caved. He didn't have to print more money. He didn't have to shut down the economy. The ignorance in your people is comical at this point. On the comments, trying to find something to be exactly like. Do I care about that? My spelling is messed up on for afraid? No, because everybody knows what I'm talking about. Move to Russia, then, bro. Why do I want to move to Russia? I don't want to move to Russia. I want to live in the United States. I think they have good policies in Russia as far as families go. He shut down the economy. Yeah, Trump shut down. He took part in the shutting down of the global economy. Printing money and how you spend it, quite different. Yeah, I agree. But he also increased the debt too, more than any president ever, because in order to make money, you need debt. What are their family policies? So in Russia, if a woman has 10 children and she raises them well, and for 1 year, to the youngest one is a year old, she'll receive the heroin award and like $16,000. As far as Hungary goes, if you have, I think it's 4 or more children, no more taxes. What's Great Reset? No, just a conspiracy to reset our global financial system. This guy grew up on participation trophies. I don't know where that even comes from. Yeah, I mean, the Great Reset is just essentially restructuring the economy, political systems. What they really want to do is enforce a one world government, change the economic system to digital. I mean, that's the big argument for the Great Reset. It's to just basically change the social, economical world, political world, and have surveillance state, right? So smart cities. It's happening in December. Haven't you been? What's happening in December? But why are you afraid of the Great Reset? The currency is conservatives don't. I mean, and then also the stakeholder economy, stakeholder capitalism. What about digital currency? Just accept that Trump and Biden were both shit. Yes. So you mean exactly what God describes in Revelation? Got it. Captain, this is not the first Great Reset, bro. We already have a digital currency. We already have a one world government. I mean, I don't know that we have a one world government, but we have a world language essentially, and that's English. Social credit system. They can make all the money digital. They can close off all your money if you're not a what? Go and live somewhere else in the U.S. Let me know that works for you. I bet you won't survive. I bet you I would. But why do I have to move outside of the U.S.? NWO is dead. Okay. Your background has misspellings. It does. But we don't have centralized currency where they can control our money. We do have centralized currency where they literally print the money out of thin air. If you don't like our policies, leave, clown. Hey, John, why don't we try to learn from other countries, dude? All right? Why can't we improve America? So you're opposed to approving America? You're opposed to awarding women who have 10 children who are going to be the future of the country from receiving some acknowledgement and incentive for having children? You mean to tell me that you don't want to pay no taxes if you have 4 or more children like in Hungary? We're the world power. They would be if they had better policy. What are you talking about? Then you move to Russia, dude. Then you move to Hungary. For mere logic, that's what I want, and you want it too. So I guess we should both leave the country then. You're so dumb. Most people don't make enough to move to another country anyway. I don't think it costs that much to move to another country. Yet most of those mothers would be on welfare in the USA. Yeah, we need a better economic system. We are improving America every day. God bless America. TikTok is not free speech. Yeah, TikTok is not free speech. All right. So why are you in here? Oh. Nope, get a career, not a job. Yeah, or start a business. You told me it didn't matter. The U.S. spent $6 trillion on fundings, goods and services. It didn't matter. It was nonsense. Trump didn't have to do what he did. Either he was complicit in the Great Reset because that was a part of the Great Reset for everybody that's afraid of it, or he's an idiot. And I don't think Trump's an idiot. I'm one of 8 kids. Our family was dirt poor. The family policies would really help America. True. He didn't have to. We can give every single mother $97,000 with the college debt money we were wasting. No, we shouldn't incentivize single motherhood. We should try to do things to encourage people to stay married and have a bunch of kids. But as far as debt forgiveness goes, all for it. There should be debt forgiveness. You can't just move to another country without a visa due to immigration laws. Yeah. This is very true. At taxpayer expense. Not if you're forgiving the loans. If you're forgiving the loans, since they can make the money out of thin air, they can just delete the money. Literally, that's how it would work. It'll be put. The DAC doesn't get to just. It does disappear because the money just appears. Do you not understand how the economy works? The money is made out of thin air. If the money comes out of thin air, the money can just disappear because it just comes from nowhere. It comes from debt. Oh, honey, that's not how. Actually, it is. You have no clue how money is made in the United States. You need a debt event to trigger money printing. No, it doesn't actually. It would be deflationary. To eliminate debt would be deflationary. Now, if you're doing what, if I understand the Joe Biden administration is doing, which is printing money to pay off the debt, you're correct. But if they are doing a true debt forgiveness, a true debt cancellation, a true debt elimination, the money would just be gone. Yeah, money is based on our country. You have no clue what you're talking about. It is not. Money is made from debt. You need debt to make money. Bank says, I want loan. Federal Reserve makes money for loan. Draw bonds, then cash, then create money from debt events. When has the government ever forgiven anything? Yeah, I mean, they did it for Bill Clinton did it for foreign aid back in 2000. Right now, there's current debt forgiveness for public service loans. So if you're a public service worker and you've been working for 10 years and you've been paying on your debts for 10 years, your debt gets eliminated. What happened to the schools that are owed the money? Well, they no longer give out as much money, right? You then make it harder to get a loan, and then you make the colleges lower their prices. Bill Gates and Fauci are going to make more royalty checks than. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I think that after, I don't know if it's 50 years or 7 years. I heard somebody say 50 years, and then I thought I read somewhere it's at 7 years, but I am for debt cancellation. After a certain amount of time, especially if you've attempted to pay off the debt after, let's say you have a mortgage for 50 years, let's say that the agreement is after 30 years, if you still haven't paid off your debt, it should be erased. The school gets paid. It's the bank that doesn't get the money. Nobody gets money. It's just deleted. It's just taken out of the money supply, guys. That's how debt forgiveness would work. Banks use your money to make money. I know how money is created. Wait, so the bank is still owed the money that was non-existent? No, they're not, because the money disappears. Literally. Inflation is caused by more money chasing less goods. No money is free, buddy. I think you're embarrassing. No, inflation is caused by the increasing of money supply. And then when you increase the money supply, you have more money in circulation. And so typically what happens is people are going to spend more. And when they spend more money, the prices of items go up because there's more money in circulation and the money is being spent quickly. And in a debt-based economy in which we live in, you need debt to make money. So if you eliminate debt, you then restrict the amount of money supply. Therefore, it will be deflationary. Putin wants to restart the. Why would it be a good idea to copy anything they do? Very simple. They said that a woman who has 10 children will receive the heroin award, which means that they will be getting about $17,000 and a recognition from the state of their service, essentially having children. And then you have Hungary, who has a policy where if you have 4 children or more, those parents effectively pay no taxes for the rest of their life. The world is not overpopulated, bro. Are there certain areas where there's more people that then can sustain that environment? Probably. Why would you pay people to have kids? Because you should incentivize people to have kids. It's a good thing to do. You want your nations to have families. If your nation stop having families, well, then you're not going to be a nation much longer. Well, here comes more children without fathers. 90% of these women will be on welfare. Hopefully not. You should disincentivize divorces. For having 10 kids, that's why people have kids they can't care of. No, actually, there has to be proof that your children are well taken care of in order to receive the reward. And 10 children, that used to be how many people had every time. Every time there was a family, 10 kids, 12 kids. So kids don't get, actually, the opposite is shown. With 4 or more children, your kids are more taken care of. The family is more happy than families with less than 4 or more kids. Yes, I do want to discriminate against people having kids. Yes. Why would anyone pay you? providing you a service. You're here, right? You're sitting here. You're talking to me. I don't need to tell people how to raise my children. Okay? Nice. Yes, take care of people because it's sad to see them neglect and abuse their own population. It's an incentive to have a lot of kids and live off the government. It's not. Are you challenged? Do you think $16,000 will feed a family forever? That's a one-time thing. And so it's after your 10th child becomes 1 year old. So you have to be able to take care of your child long before that. Well, get your wheelbarrow ready and fill it with white cash to get a dozen eggs. Print baby money. You don't just get child tax credit. Tech whiz, you have no clue what the hell I'm talking about right now. You don't. I'm talking about Russia, dude. And I'm saying that we should mimic their policy. We are destroying the planet with only no, we're not. Who did Trump betray? Very easy. He betrayed his own supporters because he did not back them up in January. He called them terrorists, and he convinced a lot of his base to go and get a jab, which now Politico is writing articles that Trump is the reason why all the side effects are happening. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
Good. So, I'm a legal immigrant into this country. And one of the reasons I came to this country was because, the American dream. American dream means you are leaving the country you were born in because the way the government is set up in that country, it has no way of trying to fix because it's very overpopulated and a lot of people are very compliant in the, as long as I go to work and come home, leave me alone. But that's why people keep on staying very poor in other countries. So you think that Trump betrayed his followers? I have a different point of view. I feel that Trump, what he did was able to get a lot of people involved in politics because he was able to speak to individuals in simple terms where people had more of an idea of what was actually going on in the country, because that's one of the biggest issue. One is language barrier, because we know America is the melting pot of all cultures. So there's a language barrier. Two, most of Americans are not career politicians. They don't know the terminology. They probably need a little help understanding what is said. And that's because I'm a medical professional, and I know a lot of people tell me, explain to me things in simple terms, not in medical terminology. You'd have to sit, there with a thesaurus to understand a lot of what these long documents have to say. Two, he was able to tell individuals that you can actually stand up in your own communities and make a change. If this is how you feel what's going on in your backyard, then you need to stand up. You need to understand what's happening in your community, because you cannot fix the world's problems if you don't fix your home first. And our home is our community. We need to have those individuals who are currently in office in our communities be accountable for the things that are happening. It's all about trying to educate ourselves, understand that there's, several things that are good and bad on both sides. And it's not about a tug of war game. If we really want to save America, I think that we need to calmly come to agree to disagree in a good way, because at the end of the day, we should all be fighting for America.
So, I mean, the last part I agree with. There were some things about Trump, obviously, that he did well. But what I'm talking about specifically is he actually betrayed his supporters, quite literally. January, when an event took place where something, where people went into the Capitol building and now people are in prison for it, Trump ended up calling them terrorists. And they did it because they were influenced by Trump. Now, you can make the argument that Trump didn't tell them to do that. Fair. All right. Nobody's saying that Trump made them do that. They did it on their own volition. Was some of it orchestrated? Yes. However, there was a large group of people right now that are sitting in prison because they wanted Trump to be president still, because they believe that the election was not fair. And Trump did not back his people. So Trump could have pardoned his people. He couldn't have he called them terrorists. So he demonized, he gaslit his own people, called them terrorists. Secondly, Trump fell hook and sinker for the whole cough and sniffle debacle, which is a part of the whole Great Reset, by the way. Trump was complicit in that. He said, we got to wear your mask. And also, guys, don't forget, get your jab. It's good for you. Hang on. No, hang on. I've let you speak for a long time. I also get your jab, guys. Get your jab. I'm boosted. Get your jab. I know the owners of J&J. Get your jab. And then he got booed. His people literally booed him for that. And then he tried to back it up. But I'm for freedom, but get your jab. I literally saved lives with the jab. That's Donald Trump. So he betrayed his people in that way. That's what I mean. Did he do good things for the country? Do I like that he was building the border wall? Yes. I think we should stop taking in immigrants. I think that he had the right idea as far as that goes. I think that we should be more energy independent. I like the way that he was going about that. I thought he was very charismatic, very entertaining. And I liked his rhetoric for the most part.
So who do you support?
Who do I support? Well, right now for president, nobody, because they're all puppets pretty much. So Joe Biden sucks. Trump sucks. DeSantis sucks. So nobody. I did not vote for president in 2020. I voted for Trump in 2016 because I thought he was going to be different. You know, Trump is complicit in the whole jab thing because back in like 2014.
I need to inform you of something. One, I'm a medical professional for 20 years. Secondly, my husband took the J&J shot and died 7 days later. So let me respond to that when I tell you that. And I still support Trump. And I'll tell you why. Because the law is that if you pass something to be authorized as usage under the emergency use authorization, you cannot mandate it because it's only used under an emergency. Now, if there's no emergency, there's no authorization of that particular product being used because this particular shot did not go through the proper FDA approval.
Because Trump forced it through. Because Trump forced it through.
Let's be fair. This is a back and forth, conversation. Let me reply to you.
Well, you did interrupt me, to be fair. So.
And then I waited my turn.
No, you didn't actually. You started going on this topic right here.
Well, because that's what you're talking about, the jab. So let me explain this. So Trump said Trump never mandated for anybody to take the jab. He just said, hey, it's available because he had to pass it under the emergency use.
He didn't have to.
But see, if Trump hadn't done this, then if Biden would have come in office, this blue administration would have come in office, and they would have made this jab FDA approved, then they would have been able to mandate. See, as of now, none of the shots are FDA approved.
So Trump screwed his people over. Trump is the reason why so many people took the jab. Trump failed his people. He's a betrayer. And he made millions of dollars off of it. He profited tremendously. He did have a choice.
You have a choice.
No, Trump had a choice too. He had the choice not to brag about it. He had the choice not to tell people to get it.
Dude, but what's your problem if people wanting to show off what they do with themselves? See, this is what you need to understand. The Constitution does not protect your feelings. And so
I don't care about my feelings. I'm telling you that Trump is a betrayer. Trump literally caused people to die because he encouraged them to get jabs.
This current administration caused individuals to die.
As did Trump.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Trump, Operation Warp Speed. Do you know what that is? That's
Right,
what pushed through.
and
That's
okay,
what
and
pushed
that was
through.
done so that the shot can come
Yeah,
out.
so he
It
could
was
so
an
he could
emergency use
unalive people and make
authorization
money.
only. That is not accurate.
He made a bunch of money from it.
No, the ones that are making money is like
It's Trump. Do you not know that
Pelosi
Trump made millions of dollars
Soros
from
and
this?
Bill Gates.
Hang on. Do you not know that Trump
Are
made millions of
involved.
dollars from the jab?
He didn't.
He did, actually. That's a fact.
That's what you think. Where's the receipts?
You can just look it up. It's
I
readily
did look
available.
it up. Like I said, I'm very invested and involved in this because of the situation that happened.
But I get it. I get it. I get it. A lot of people have Trump's, you know, they have Stockholm syndrome with Trump.
Can you say, but see,
I get it.
Now you're assuming.
No. I'm seeing that right now. I just listed out. No, hang on. I just listed.
Upset and offended.
I'm not upset and offended at all. But I'm not at all. I'm a passionate speaker. I'm Latino. You should know this. I'm a Latino man. I don't speak Spanish though. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm sort of Rican. So I'm like half Puerto Rican, half white. But I'm a passionate man, so I'm not getting emotional. I'm not getting angry. I just speak with passion. So don't get that confused. Trump betrayed his Trump. Yeah, so Trump literally said, "You guys who stormed the Capitol are terrorists."
That's not true.
He did.
No, sir.
Yes, I can pull up a YouTube video right now. Do you want to watch it with me?
Now, do you understand that there's promoters and feds that allowed innocent Trump supporters in? I mean, come on. There is a lady walking.
Yes, I know. I already made that argument at the beginning. I already said that some of it was orchestrated. Some of it was not. A lot of people who went in there were innocent.
Right.
They did it.
I agree with you. They were innocent.
And Trump did nothing to help them. Trump did nothing to help them. He said, "You guys are terrorists."
No. What you need to know is Trump had the National Guard available, and it was up to Pelosi to agree to let the National Guard there to help. Now, Pelosi didn't do this. See, what you need to
I know. Keep blaming Democrats. Keep blaming Democrats.
What do you mean keep the Democrats? Stop assuming this. Stop thinking about colors.
No, you're the one that's thinking about colors.
No,
you just literally said that the Democrats would take all the credit for everything, and then Nancy Pelosi is the reason why that the National Guard didn't happen. I don't think about colors. I just told you I'm not a supporter of Trump. I'm not a supporter of Biden. I'm not a supporter of Republicans. I think Republicans are too weak. I think Democrats are very, very slow most of the time. I would be for somebody way more radical than Trump, somebody who actually had a backbone. Trump didn't have a backbone at all.
Are you kidding me, bro? What's wrong with you?
I just told you he caved to the global elite and said, "Everybody get the jab. Everybody get the jab. Everybody get the jab."
Listen, chill, bro. Have a chill, dude. You repeat the same thing over and over again doesn't make it factual.
It is factual.
You're going to tell me that Trump didn't have a backbone, yet he went to North Korea alone. He had a good relationship with Putin because it's about respect, not that they were like colluding together, right? This man.
We're not talking about that.
Anywhere. No.
We're not talking.
This man did not start any war.
Actually,
time in presidency, and you're gonna tell me this man had no backbone.
Yeah.
Was respected by other.
So here's the thing.
People who were
Donald Trump.
Level as him.
Donald Trump bombed more people. Donald Trump bombed.
Listen, now it's your turn to listen.
No. This is my show, so I can decide when I'm going to talk or not. So Donald Trump literally bombed more people in Syria than any president ever. He dropped more bombs than any president. Did he start a new war? No, he didn't. I thought that was a good thing too. Trust me. I was like, wow, that's one of the good things Trump did. He didn't start any new wars. But then I found out through new information that actually Trump was actually one of the most aggressive militarily presidents ever. He killed more people militarily than any president ever. So he was dropping bombs, unaliving children, unaliving families in Syria. In Syria and all over the Middle East. There's actually a really good chart about it. Yeah, there's actually a really good chart comparing the bombs that he dropped compared to the bombs that Bush dropped, Obama dropped. And I thought Obama had the most drone strikes and the most bombings, but that isn't true, actually. Trump beats him. Trump beats him by a large margin, leaves him in the dust. So yeah, I mean, he did not start any new wars. Did he go and talk to North Korea?
Okay, so
He did, and I think that him going talking to North Korea was a good thing. I think that it was a good thing that he had good relationships with Russia. You know, I think that those were benefits for the world. I think that it's bad that we're in the Ukrainian war. Do I think that we would be? Do I think that we would be in war with? Would we be in a proxy war right now with Russia? No, I don't. If Trump was in office, I don't think that we would have this proxy war going on in Ukraine.
You agree with me then?
I agree with you on certain things. I don't think that you have the nuance of capturing what I'm saying, because I am telling you, as I've stated in the beginning, that there's a lot of things Trump did that I liked. I voted for Trump in 2016. The reason I voted for Trump in 2016 is because of immigration, and is also because of putting America first. No more wars, pulling troops. I'm telling you why I voted for Trump. Pulling troops out of Afghanistan. What else? He questioned the jab. In 2014, he actually, called out Bill Gates. And then all of that changed. Come 2020, 2019, he was dropping more bombs than any president ever. He did not pull the troops out of Afghanistan. He did not finish the border wall. What else? He then printed more money than any president ever. He got the country in more debt than any president ever. And he is encouraging people to get the jab that is known to be very bad. And he called his own supporters on January 6th terrorists.
You're seriously misinformed.
Do you understand what I just said?
No.
I just told you he didn't build the border wall, did he? He had Congress for 2 years. He had Congress for 2 years.
All right, go ahead. Rant off and let me
He had Congress for 2 years. 2 years. 2 years he had the House. He did nothing with it. They passed nothing of substance in 2 years to really, really help. Did they start producing energy in America? They did. I thought that was great. That was awesome. We should be doing that more. Did he mellow relations with Russia and China? Of course. That was awesome. Great. I think that we should be cooperating with Russia and China. I have no issue with that. Is it good that he talked to North Korea? Yeah, I think it's good with North Korea. North Korea didn't do any nuclear strikes.
This is the fourth time you repeat yourself.
They didn't do any nuclear strikes in North Korea because of Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump had the balls to say, you want to try to test us? We have bigger missiles. I like that about Trump.
So now Trump has balls when earlier you said Trump had no backbone.
I told you why I think he has no backbone, and I don't think you listened to those points. He has no backbone because he did not really do what he promised. So was he able to prevent new wars and prevent nuclear testing from North Korea? Yes, I've already stated this. I'm repeating myself because for whatever reason, it's not clicking with you. So the problem with the backbone is the fact that he will not back up his supporters. He said that they are terrorists. It's on video. It's on video.
Can I speak now? Can I speak now? Because you repeating the same thing over and over again is not going to make me change my mind. I thought it was supposed to speak about the two different points of view, and you keep on going back and forth about Trump doesn't have a backbone, and then Trump has balls, and then I'm telling you he did something good, and then I told you that he didn't make any wars, and he went to all these other countries, and then you start repeating the same thing that I just said, and you're just bashing, and you're really not speaking anything that has, context.
Okay, I think it's because you have Trump derangement syndrome.
No, well, you don't let me speak. I mean, how am I? I think the one that has Trump derangement syndrome is you.
Yeah, I know. The guy who, really liked Trump. I voted for Trump. I wanted Trump to do well.
I thought Trump was a bad guy.
Yeah, the guy that, I think that Trump is actually a bad guy. I mean, he said that if his daughter wasn't his daughter, he'd date her. He said that Jeffrey Epstein was a good guy who likes young girls. Yeah, I mean, those are all facts.
So you're not aware that when Trump was in office, he was the one who had the program to stop child trafficking.
I do. He did a great job. I think the FBI did a great job under that.
So Trump mandated that, right? You are aware.
Yeah, I am.
It was Trump who instated the Stay in Mexico policy, correct? Which
helped
protect our borders. You're aware of that, right?
Yes, there was less immigration during Trump. I thought that was wonderful. We had less things coming
Trump
in.
also had the lowest rate of unemployment that the country has even seen, even
Yeah.
lower than the Obama administration.
Yeah, of course. I agree with that.
Right?
Yeah.
You are aware that not only were taxes lower,
Uh-huh.
gas was also lower. We had
Yep.
more of energy independent grid.
I've been saying that, by
Right.
the way. You said I've been repeating myself, but this is why I repeat myself, because you're not listening. I said these.
Oh my God.
I literally said that we were energy independent. And then you get tired of me repeating myself, and it's because you don't listen. I'm telling you that Trump did a lot of good. I'm with you. That Trump. So let me try this again. Trump made the country independent on energy for a good portion. That was good. Really, really good. The gas prices went down because of that. Fine. Cool. Right? Tax cuts took place. People were benefiting from it. I even said that in the beginning of my stream. Somebody asked me, what policy did Trump do? And I was like, well, the tax cuts actually helped my family out. We had more in our taxes. I mean, we had more income than we had taken out from taxes. So that's really cool. The child tax credit I thought was great. There's a lot of things that Trump did good. But my biggest gripe with him is the fact that, for one, I think jabs are evil. I think that they are a part of a depop plan. They don't help you at all.
I agree.
And he promotes them. I think that's disgusting. I think that he knows what he's doing.
So this is where I feel that you need to think of something. In this country, we're supposed to be free, and we all have to have the ability to choose and decide what decisions we want to do for ourselves.
So how do you feel about Trump promoting it? I get that. You can say you can have freedom, all this stuff, right? Fair enough. It's everybody's own choice. But why do you think Trump is bragging about the jab?
I think he was also bragging about ivermectin and other.
But why is he bragging about the jab? Let's focus on that. Why is he bragging about the jab?
So what if he does? That's his personal opinion on it.
So you think that jabs are bad? Do you think that jabs are bad? But it's okay for the president of the United States, who's the most influential person in the United States, to encourage people to get something that's bad for them. You think that's good?
But see, people need to understand that just because he's the president doesn't mean you have to do everything he says when you live in America.
Yes, we know that. Nobody's arguing that. Mm-hmm. But you do understand how influencers work, right? You do understand how subliminal messaging works, right?
You also need to have a brain and think for yourself, right?
Yes, I agree. But you know how many people... So do you agree? Let me ask you this. Are there some people that you just trust because they have a good standing in your life? That if they tell you something, you're going to believe them, right?
No.
I thought, well, that you have a really bad life then. If you don't have anybody that you can just trust.
No, I mean, there's like, if you're talking about like family or, there's levels of trust, but like when I was young, my mother would say, ¿A poco si todas tus amigas se brincan de un puente, tú también te vas a ir a brincar? Like, just because all your friends go jump off a bridge, does that mean...
That's not what I'm saying at all. So once again, I'll repeat my question. There's nobody in your life that you actually trust where you're just like, hey. So for instance, when you go to the mechanic and they tell you, you need new rear brakes and calipers, are you going to really like go back there and do it yourself or have somebody else check it out to just double check? Or are you going to be like, you know what? I trust you.
I'll get different quotes.
But then you got to trust somebody, right?
Well, I get different quotes.
But then you have to trust somebody, right? You then eventually can you change your own engine?
I can make an informed decision.
Yes, but can you change your own engine?
No.
So at some point, you have to defer trust to somebody telling you you need trust. You need an engine.
Not blindly trust someone.
All right, so we're just going around in circles. I'm going to let somebody else in. You have a great day. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, not much. Actually, I was hoping she'd still be in here when
I only do one person at a time. It makes it easier.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. No, I just thought it was hilarious because I know Queen pretty well. She immigrated from Mexico into this country, and I've seen her in a lot of lives and heard her talk a lot, and I thought it was just kind of hilarious to watch a white liberal mansplainer her why she was wrong.
You do understand I'm not a liberal, right? So I'm a monarchist. I am far right, bro. Far right.
You're far right, but you're an anti-Trumper.
I'm not anti-Trumper.
Okay, you say Trump betrayed his people. I assume that
Yes.
you meant you're an anti-Trumper.
Yeah, I know. So
Okay.
stop assuming. Maybe you should ask me what I believe in. What do I mean by he betrayed his people?
Okay. Well, I mean, you can understand that it's a safe assumption when.
No, I
when
can't
TikTok
actually.
you see me.
No, you know what
Okay,
they say
well,
about assuming, right? Makes an ass out of you and me.
I know what they say, yeah, but I don't really care what they say. So.
Okay.
No, I'm like I said, I just like I said, I saw you were talking to Queen, and I just wanted to kind of.
So you're white knighting for Queen. I get it. Cool.
No,
what do you
not
want to
at all.
talk about?
No, I'm not even white, bro.
You are. No, you don't get. You don't.
Talk about assuming.
No, you don't even know what white knighting means. White knighting means that you're coming to a woman's defense. It has nothing to do with race.
Okay. Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. I thought you said something different. I apologize. That was.
So please step up the intelligence when we're talking here. I'm going to be a dick to you now because you came in here being very disrespectful.
You were a dick already.
So
that's
come on. What are we going to talk about?
I'm not.
What are we going to talk about?
I'm good. Bye.
All right. See ya. All right. That was hilarious. I'm a white man, I'm a white man mansplaining to a Latina when I told her, hey, I'm Latino. The guy thinks I'm a liberal. His whole world is shattered. And I'm like, dude, I want a monarchy. I haven't seen anyone use white knight since 2015 and from little boys. Okay, well, Angel, KO, bye. We don't need you in here, bro. Bro, why would you want a monarchy? Because I think that kings are the shit. You're white. I'm Puerto Rican. How did Trump betray his people? A monarchy is where you have a king. Why was Trump on fight logs? Exactly. Static gets it. Why was he on flight logs? But there are some benefits to jabs in the past. I don't think so, Mike Dave. I'm very anti that, by the way. Wow, it's snowflakes in here. Yeah, fact. What's Russia's family policy? That's a good question. Big Rob, Big Bob, those are the kind of questions. We should be talking more so about like the child policy. Because who really cares about Trump? Who really cares about Orange Man? 10 children. If a woman has 10 children or more, and she raises them all well, they all have enough care, enough love, enough promoted their own vaccine. Yeah, they did, and I disagree with that. I'm not for it. I said family policies. So there's a heroin award that's provided to women that have 10 children, and they raise them well, all to the age of the last one's 1 year old, and then they get $16,000 and they're recognized by the country. You do traumatize because everything you believed in were lies, grifted by your Messiah. Okay. Why did Trump do is? Thank you, David. That's the other thing. Why is Trump on Israeli money? Why would you want a monarch? Because I think it would provide the most cohesive structure for a society. They're the longest lasting governments. How is it illegal to accept lobby payments to corrupt? Good question. Trump will win again? Hopefully not. Why is Trump all hey, Alpha, I think Trump derangement syndrome works on the left and the right. I'm far right, bro. Like, I'm not a liberal. I want a monarchy. Where were Jay-Z on the flight log that disappeared? Really? Is that true, Operation Mockingbird? Do you think Biden is good for the West? No, not at all. Many people have mixed views on jabs, and Trump believes it's not in it, but not mandates. Yeah, I know. Trump takes a big L for that. I think Operation Mockingbird's about to spit some knowledge here if he's being serious.
Jay-Z and Beyonce were on that list, and their names disappeared.
Are you being serious, or are you just making shit up? Okay. So their names disappeared.
Yep.
How do we know that their names disappeared?
Because I had a source, and then I looked back on that source, and their names are gone. And what else is it? Why is Tom Hanks out of the country too? And it's not the movie Elvis either. He's been on the flight logs too.
Potentially. I mean, I would not doubt it. But
just like Alec Baldwin, he's on the list too. And why do you think he whacked the person in Hollywood? Because she was putting a documentary about people in Hollywood against pedophiles.
I don't know about that. I mean, accidents do happen, and she was a very low star. There's a lot of people who talk about it. I mean, look at that UFC fighter. Look at that UFC fighter who just came out about that stuff. And where did you see these flight logs? I thought that these logs were like under wraps.
Well, I got some of Jeffrey Epstein's phone numbers and shit. My friend sent me a link. I'll give you a link after if you want it.
I guess.
No, there's a bunch of shit, dude. Like legit, like people need to wake up.
Yeah. I mean, there's some truth to that for sure. So, is there anything on this?
Look at my name. Do you even know anything about?
I do. This is how the news organizations all work together. It's a conspiracy. I do. I'm very deep in the rabbit hole, my friend.
I think you'll like my bio then.
Oh, yeah?
Here, I'll type in chat for you then.
I can see it.
You can do it that way.
I'm done arguing with people who should have been. Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm not like more right leaning. I'm more left leaning. I'm more of a conspiracy person and go down those rabbit holes and shit like that.
Right on. So, is there anything on the topic that you want to talk about? One of the topics?
I gotta swipe this way. U.S. should copy hunger and hunger is a fucking problem everywhere, though, dude, isn't it?
What's that?
And like hunger's a freaking problem everywhere, isn't it?
Well, it says Hungary, like Hungary, like
my bad.
Hungary, like the country.
Yeah. I'm gonna get reset. Yeah, I don't know. But there's just a bunch of shit. I don't know. I just gotta go more into my shit and everything else. But no, I thought it was just kind of funny that you brought flight logs up and then names disappear.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, that's interesting. I don't really go down those rabbit holes much anymore. I think there's much better ways than trying to connect the dots. It's pointless to try to connect the dots. You'll never connect the dots. It's a waste of time. Just
I get it.
Just learn that the world is corrupt, and that evil is real, and you should be fine.
Exactly. But yeah, I get you. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to tell you that some names are disappearing and shit like that. And have a good day.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks.
Welcome.
All right. And the GOP featured the leader at CPAC events. Okay. What are you getting at? Said she had weeks without treatment, like that. LOL. Yeah. So, I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, how can you just do anything to support Trump? I get it. Even the right. So the left will do anything to discredit Trump. And the right will do anything to say he's not bad guy. What about Obama and Clinton's 16-year plan? What about it? I got my leg broke. I got my leg broken, got treatment for free. I got problem with my heart. I got free treatment. Okay. Got more in box. These people are cracking me up. No, I don't have any more in the box right now. I wish I did. I mean, if anybody really wants to talk. Trump called himself the godfather of the cloud. Nikki, oh my God. Yes, you get it. Based. Based. What's going on, Mr. Movie?
Yeah, these people crack me up, dude. They will believe anything they see. And they you can tell they can't connect the dots to what they're saying. There's no real logic or rationale between what they're believing. The guy says, I saw flight logs. You saw celebrities' names on your computer screen? That doesn't mean a thing. That means nothing. You saw Tom Hanks' name on the screen, so you think he's involved with some sort of... How do you get from point A to point B?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things more than the flight logs. There's a lot more. I haven't, like I mentioned to him before, I don't really pay attention to a lot of that stuff anymore. But there's a lot of other evidence. There's more. Unfortunately, people like him make conspiracy theorists look really, really bad. There's a really, really smart conspiracy theorist who can, really show you evidence to infer those things are true. And you would be maybe not convinced, but you would say, wow, that's something to think about. And I'm not the guy to do that for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, the smarter conspiracy theorists are able, the only thing that they're smart in is able to rope in guys like that. They know how to present this evidence and present these quote unquote cases to them in a way that's going to make these type of people, they know how their mind is going to get wrapped all around it, and they're going to be convinced that Tom Hanks is a kingpin of this illegal thing going on. And it's like, you really didn't show them any evidence of that. You just showed these isolated cases of certain bits of evidence that convince people like that. And that's what they do. And they know if they convince enough people, they can get enough likes on their Facebook page where they can actually start making money off it. They're just taking advantage of people that don't really think that well. That's all it is to me.
Well, there's some people, yes, some people do that, but there's a lot of really good people who are in the we tend to call ourselves truthers. I'm definitely in the community myself. I no longer really care about connecting dots and conspiracy theories. Once again, I think it's a waste of time because ultimately, can you ever prove it? It's very hard to have concrete evidence to prove it unless there's some things that you can prove pretty well.
You can prove tons of stuff. I mean,
yeah, but like when that guy presents the argument, about the whole PEDO rings, it wasn't very great. He didn't seem very articulate, but I know he has his heart in the right place, and people who are looking into it are not just doing it because it's fun. I mean, it's people who go down the truther path. It's not very a fun path. It becomes very isolating. So
I'm sure it does. I mean, I've had some of my friends, start going down those rabbit holes, and all of us in the friend group, we just look at those people just like, dude, you got hooked on something that. You're trying to tell me that, one of my best friends, he called me up a while ago and he was like, dude, I think Tom Hanks is dead. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, they're using deep fakes of him online. He was supposed to be on this movie set, but this global police type force has him, and I think they're going to execute him and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, dude, you are out of your mind, bro. I was like, you are so deep in this.
Well,
and I ended up, I had to call his dad, and it was a whole thing.
Well, what I would say, hang on. I think that's wrong of you to call his dad. I would say this, man. I would say this.
He ended up in a psych ward for 7 days, and I don't know what.
Well, that's kind of messed up. Anyway, I will say this. Don't just discredit anybody who claims to be a conspiracy theorist. There's a lot of the conspiracies are real. They happen in business. They happen in government. As a matter of fact, the United States was founded by conspiracy theorists by definition. The founding fathers conspired to overthrow the British government. So just because somebody is a conspiracy theorist doesn't make them crazy. Are there crazy conspiracy theorists? Yes. in the instance of deep fakes, are deep fakes real? Very real. Very, very real. Can they be used to manipulate things, to manipulate people, to to maybe fake somebody's dead or fake somebody's alive? Yeah, they could. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. So I think that it's almost just as bad and just as crazy for people to say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you believe this stuff, you're crazy. They're equally as crazy because they're not willing to have their worldview potentially shattered by good logic and evidence. Now, a lot of times, I'm not the guy to sit here and tell you good evidence on these conspiracies. I don't spend much time researching them. That is not what I focus on. But I am a truther. I know that the world is not what it seems. I know that conspiracies are real. I know that there's evil in the world. Therefore, a lot of these things aren't far-fetched for me to believe that there are people that are in an SEX trafficking ring, and there are people who are making millions and billions of dollars in Hollywood that are a part of it. That there's people in government a part of it. I mean, we already know that that's true. I mean, there's a lot of articles that have come out about these things that, like Kevin Spacey and, so there's things that you can infer, right? That things are going on behind the scenes. The casting couch is a known thing. So if you know the casting couch is real and you know that sexual abuse takes place in Hollywood, well, it's not out of the realm of possibilities to infer that there may be some human trafficking that takes place in Hollywood as well, because a lot of the sex industry is linked. I mean, basically anything to do with like corn, I'll call it, anything to do with corn and like SEX workers, whether it's legal or not, SEX trafficking in those two industries, they go hand in hand. They can't exist without each other. So from just a very, very logical, without getting into spiderweb grand conspiracy theories, it's not crazy for somebody to think that. And all I'm saying is, dude, maybe you shouldn't be calling your friend's dad because he thinks that Tom Hanks is dead and there's a deep fake of him. Like, maybe he's just going through a phase, man. Maybe he's just like, all right, this is what I think right now.
Yeah, no, it's not unreasonable to believe that stuff goes on, especially when there's evidence and people arrested and things like Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein and things like that. And, those are incidents that happen and there's evidence behind it to believe that it's true. My problem is that when people start believing things when the evidence just isn't there.
But have you looked into it as well? That's my thing. So have you looked into the flight logs?
I've seen lists that I found online of people's names. I have no idea what I was looking at. I don't know how reliable it was. And when I could only find like lists like that, and they were all different, of course.
Yeah.
That's when I realized like, oh, this information is not out there. I can't trust any of this information that
Fair.
I'm seeing. So there's really no way to know. And like you said, the real evidence, the real lists and stuff like that are not public. They are locked up. And just because someone's name's on a list doesn't mean that they did anything wrong.
Right. Yeah, I mean, 100%. 100%. I totally get where you're coming from there. 100%. I agree with you, actually. I don't know who all was on the flight log. I mean, I make the comments that there's rumors of Trump being on the flight log because I wouldn't doubt that Trump would do something like that. I mean, he literally said that if his daughter wasn't his daughter, while his daughter was young, very, very young, he said that he would date his daughter on national television. That to me is very creepy. And he also said that Jeffrey Epstein is a good guy who likes young girls. Anybody who thinks that Jeffrey Epstein is a good guy, okay.
I've seen that clip as well. I mean, it still doesn't prove that Trump did anything wrong there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It seems like you might be able to say that you think he may know something about what Jeff was doing, which is very possible, but you still can't say 100%.
Well, I think that you can infer it, right? So in logic, you can infer. And I think there's enough evidence to infer Trump knew what was going on because he said, quote unquote, Jeffrey Epstein is a good guy. And he added, and likes young girls. He didn't have to say and likes young girls. He could have just said Jeffrey Epstein is a good guy. But he added and likes young girls. Why'd he do that? Very interesting.
Yeah, no, I think it's not unreasonable to believe that Trump knew something about what was going on.
Yeah, I definitely think. At first, I'll tell you, like, for me, in 2016, I voted for Trump. I thought that Trump knew what was going on and he would do something about it. That's the image he portrayed. And obviously, he didn't. He's still in cahoots with all those people. He's a dirtbag. He's not the best guy to look up to. He is funny. He's charismatic. He can really get a crowd going. He had some good policies I agreed with.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I didn't vote for him, but
yeah,
I agree with what you're saying.
Right on. Well, hey, man, I got somebody else that wants to hop in. Thank you very much for listening and chatting. I appreciate it.
No doubt.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me? Mary, can you hear me? All right, I'm going to get you out, and then if you want to come back in, feel free to come back in. Have patience with President Trump, how things pan out. We already saw how they panned out. You're not a top G. Go Trump. Okay, Colton. The left is a continuous, disingenuous conviction. Trump brought the clock. Yeah. Crazy Democrat propaganda. Okay. I mean, there's literally footage of everything I'm saying. I'm not afraid. Learn to spell. Okay. The left is owned. So is the right, Stacy. Trump to return to finish the wall. Not really. Yes, they are. No, he won't. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to help my wife. My daughters were getting cranky for bedtime. Great Reset, don't know, slavery. Okay. Let's see. Did I miss anything in the chat? Want real news? Okay. Aren't they on BitChute X22? Sounds like a BitChute channel. Yeah, they are. Interesting. Great Reset. Don't you know? Slavery. That's all voluntary. Why you American don't take European as example? A European can do it and U.S. not. What are you talking about? So, universal health care. Gotcha. I don't know. I don't think that universal health care will be good. I don't think most people need to go to the doctor anyway. I think that really you should just go to the doctor if you need surgery or there's like some really, really bad health issue. Well, I just said it because I think that it should just be like, I think that universal health care would probably work better if there were a few things. First off, not all of these doctor visits. I think that they're pointless. Only go to the doctor when you absolutely need to, have surgery. Are there some like really intense treatment that you can only get at the hospital as far as those intense treatments? I don't know what you would really consider, but I'm sure there's some that are very, very useful. And then also anybody who's like clogging up the ER room with like a sprained ankle, maybe a bruise, maybe something very minor like a cold, there should be a doctor to go around and say, you go home, you go home, you go home. You'll be fine. Put some ice on it. Good, good, good. Bye. So that way you reduce the amount of people in the hospital and you have an incentive of increasing the health of the population. Then maybe race bleedings. I will say Trump did great things for we the people. So do you trust Trump? They have that triage is done by nurses. I think that's how you say it. I don't freaking know, but I know what you're talking about. Why you pay for studying? Studying is free by us. I always hear the argument. So this is the argument that I hear, that taxes are a lot more in those countries than it is in the U.S. Well, I think that's true. We still pay a lot of taxes. I mean, you may be able to do it like, let's say hypothetically, you could eliminate all foreign aid. You would reduce the migration into the country. You take away all like Social Security, welfare, food stamps, and you just focused on providing free surgeries if they're needed, paid by the tax dollar, and free intense medical care if you need it by the tax dollar. But as far as like your regular doctor checkup, like going to check because you feel sick, like you have the flu, you should have to pay for that out of pocket. But I think huge surgeries should be paid for. I don't see anything wrong with that. U.S. has tax burden on poor people after top margin tax rate was lowered by Reagan. Well, the other thing, though, is that rich people do pay their taxes and sales tax, right? That's something I thought about the other day. That, let's say that their sales tax is like 6, 7, 10% on $1 million. Well, they just paid $100,000 in taxes, 60, 70 to $100,000 in taxes. But many don't. I know. But what I'm saying is that you could make the argument that their consumption is mitigating the income tax or making up for the no income tax. right? And the way that they're doing it is not because they're doing anything illegal. They're just using the tax code to their advantage, which we as average citizens could learn how to do that too. They certainly weren't paying their fair share. Well, let's see. Like, let's say that, somebody bought a $10 million mansion and they had to pay, who knows, $1 million in taxes on the land. In property taxes every year, they're paying $1 million or some shit. I don't know, right? Maybe $500K, $20K. I don't freaking know, right? The tax code is designed to shift the burden onto the poor people. Well, there's a lot of things poor people can do to mitigate their tax bill too. But I get what you're saying. And yes, Chris is right. Most educated people are liberals. But I don't know if that says much. On paper, people with the most degrees who went to university longest are liberals. Is that a sign that they're intelligent? It used to be a sign that they're intelligent to have these degrees, but that's no longer being the case. We need to raise the top marginal tax rate to like 50. Right now, people who make I think $250,000 a year, they're paying almost $40,000 in taxes, man. And you have to understand that these business owners know to what it was in the 1950s. I get it. I get what you're saying. Oh, 50s. I'm sorry. My bad, dude. My bad. Yeah, in the 1950s, it was like 70%, wasn't it? Let's look at that. I'm interested in that. Let's see. $1950s were up. Well, yeah, that's what I thought, like 70, 80. But I'm pulling it up right now. But everybody's taxes were very, very increased. How many lies have been proven to not be? How many lies have to be proven to not be a liberal? Stacy, just have a little more nuance in your thought, okay? Because I am not a liberal. I'm not particularly a fan. I am sympathetic to liberal positions, though. Nuance from the right. Hey, Chris, I'm far right, bro. Some people will call me alt-right. I'm being very nuanced, am I not? Yeah, I mean, it's undeniable that most liberals have the degrees. But it's also not deniable that most colleges are liberal. Okay, Chris over here. We'll have to start using left and rights of our brains. Nice one. Yeah, I think that these taxes were a little insane. So right here, head of household. So if you made $200,000 a year, you were taxed 91%. That's insane. Someone said that most liberals are uneducated. I was just correcting them. Hey, Chris. Maybe consider the fact that what they were saying as far as education goes is in regards to the lies that are told to us by the media. And this goes for right and left wing. Educated but not common sense. Well, they could be miseducated too, or ill-informed. The top 20% of taxpayers pay 70% of all federal taxes. That is for 2040 or 2020. Yeah. But 91%. Let's do the math. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, damn. Let's see how much they would be taking home. That's insane. Hang on. So if you made 200, literally 90%, I paid 95,000 in income tax and 11% on everything I buy. Well, that's what I'm saying. So Nikki gets what I'm saying, and this is where Chris is just being a little, ideologue. Literally, they pay more in sales tax than you will probably ever pay in income tax. I don't know why that's hard for people to understand. Especially if they're not going through a corporation or something. Like, they're not buying it through an LLC. They're just buying it cash. Maybe they do buy an LLC. They still aren't paying their fair share. So you want somebody making 200. Let's go through Chris's thinking here, all right? Let's actually break this down. So $82,000 a year. Let me pull up my notepad to keep this up. Because they're too busy clawing rather than being clawed. So somebody making $200,000. So what is that? 82,000. That'd be like what? 18,000, I believe, right? Let me just do the quick math. All right, so all right, let's do this. So 200,000. 18,000. So somebody making $200,000 a year would bring home $18,000. I said we should return to the top. Chris, I'm literally telling you the top pay right here is 91% for somebody who made $200,000 head of household. I didn't say that 200. Oh my God. So what should the tax rate be then, dude? Gross $235K. That's a good living, depending on where you live, I guess. Okay, so then tell me. Then tell me what would 200K be and what should the tax rate be for the highest earner? Canada. Nice. Thank you, JW. His people, the people who did things for him in January, and then he said, screw you guys, you're terrorists. This is going to be, should be based on resources, not people. Why can't you spell? I don't know. 90% for those making more than $1 million a year. Oh my God. That's insane, Chris. Why would anybody want to work? Why would anybody ever want to make $1 million a year then? Why would anybody ever do jobs that are worth $90 million? Or $1 million. So if somebody makes $1 million a year, you only want them to bring home $100,000? You support what BLM did an entire summer? No, BLM is not good. So what should the tax rate be for somebody who makes $300,000 a year then? So if somebody makes $1 million, you want them to be taxed 90%. So let's say somebody who's making $300,000, it would force people to reinvest back into the economy. Not necessarily. All of those people wanting to tax at 70, 90% probably have never worked. I don't believe that. That's literally what they do now, Chris. So basically you're encouraging to game the system. People will take out loans out of their stocks that has appreciate to prevent taxation are a problem. Yeah. Everyone should be taxed the same, regardless of income. I could see that. Yeah, I'd have no problem with a flat tax. But then again, I'm not an economist. So I don't know what that would actually do. Why can't we just have a flat tax? For me, it's $20K. But they would still be paying more. Getting closer to their fair share. What is their fair share, Chris? What is their fair share? What would you consider a point at which the wealthy elite would be paying their fair share? What's that dollar amount? Can you give me a dollar amount? Every year. Flat tax our resources, then we produce more of what we have. Yeah. Whatever the income tax is. Okay, so the income tax is what it is now. You do realize with sales tax, they do pay their portion of income. Should Cash App us for us to send you money? Yeah, if you are getting any value out of this whatsoever, you find this live stream entertaining, valuable, in whatever way, if you want to support, that's awesome. If not, no pressure. I don't even talk about it. If people bring it up in the chat, I'll bring it up. But otherwise, it's just up there. If you feel that, hey, you're getting any value of this, whether it's laughing with me or at me or being informed or just enjoying it, feel free. And he has his I do have my Cash App up on here. How did Trump betray his people because the Dems cheated? No. So I said that Trump betrayed his people because he said that those who stormed the Capitol were terrorists and that the jab was good. Trump called himself yeah, that's another thing, Nick. Nikki gets it. Trump derangement syndrome exists on the right. So he's panhandling. No, a panhandler doesn't sit here and amass 90 people to watch him talk. When's the last time you saw 90 people sitting around watching a panhandler talk? Do you pay to go watch people talk? You probably do. You've probably been to a movie theater. You've probably been to a speech. You've probably been to a comedy show, right? Lots. Have you been to Pensacola? I have, but I have not seen any homeless people giving speeches. If they do, you should videotape it and record it and put it on TikTok. That'd be cool. See what they have to say. Maybe they're preaching some gospel. The only way you make it equal is yeah, probably, but I don't know. Yesterday when I saw a busker, okay, we should own nothing and be happy. Technically, you can make the argument that you already own nothing. The Panhandle is lit behind Home Depot 9 Mile. Interesting. I only ever been to the beach there when I was a lot younger. Do you, though? Do you own your car? I mean, it's more of a metaphysical thing, right? So, like, person, I get what you're saying. Like, I say that I own my car, too. But on a metaphysical level, do you really own it? You know what I mean? Like, you can't take any of this stuff with you when you die. So, like, you stake claim to something while you're here. You know? So, I mean, on a metaphysical level, I say that we don't really own anything. But I get what you're saying. Like, we do, like, I think that there should be property laws. Like, I'm all for private property. Like, you should be able to stake your claim on a piece of property while you're here. But you don't really own it, you know? Dude, that's what inheritance is for. I'm with you. The pink channel, you get it. You get it. I'm all for inheritance. Yes. So that way you can perpetuate the claim being made to said resources and items to your family. Like, continue it on from your family. So I'm all for that, for sure. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, not much.
Good.
So basically, the way our tax system is set up, it's so set up so nobody in the lower or middle class can ever really get ahead. And it's so confusing. They don't teach us anything in school about it. Quite frankly, there's so many damn tax code laws. It's not even funny. It really just needs to be all eliminated. We all need to go to just a flat, like 15% tax of income, right across the board.
Yeah, that's what some people are saying, but I don't know what the ramifications with that would be. I don't know how that would look. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but I just don't know how it would look practically. I mean, are there any real-life examples of flat taxes working anywhere?
That I don't know, but I do know that we have just a ton of bullshit in our government. You know, I'll give you an example because I'm into the car scene. Our Federal Highway Safety Administration basically says that we cannot bring in vehicles from other countries unless they're 25 years old or you have extremely deep pockets. You can't bring in a vehicle except for a racetrack only vehicle.
Okay.
And then it has to be exported back out after X amount of years. So it forces us to buy a U.S. domestic market vehicle.
Okay.
Okay. Now they sit there and they claim that, you know, well, their safety standards aren't up to par or their emission standards up to par. Well, let me give you an example. Japan. They have extremely high emission standards over there. Plus, they also run higher octane fuel than we do. Okay.
Mhm.
They're required to change out their engines at like 50K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's not 50K miles. It's in kilometers.
Kilometers, yeah.
So it's actually less. It's like 30,000 miles. But here's a U.S. consumer. I can't buy a fuel efficient vehicle that they make over there because it doesn't meet our safety standards here. Well, that shouldn't be a problem. If I want to drive a little tiny car that gets 50, 60 miles a gallon, that if I rear end a truck is going to crumple me and kill me, that should.
Why is it kicking people out? It's kind of annoying. We'll work through it. So somebody said that it'll shift the burden to poor people. Flat taxes. Well, I mean, at some point you just have to accept that nothing's going to be fair, right? There's never going to be 100% fairness in any economic system. When they had Facebook censor Hunter Biden's laptop, hey, CDX79, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you on that. As far as the FBI thing, I think Trump may have had some hand in that. I don't know, though. Hey, you might get kicked out again. It's not me. It's TikTok. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. They don't want me to speak out.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just connection issues. But, I mean, unless you've been banned, I don't know. We've been shadow banned on here for quite some time. Anyway, so safety issues in Japan.
2024 is an independent with no backing.
Yeah.
And they kind of don't like me because I have a lot to say.
Right on.
I kind of understand both sides of the political party. To give you an example, you know, we have fishing licenses for a reason. It's not really to stop people from going out fishing. It's to repopulate. Because if everybody goes out and fishes out of the same pond and no one ever pays to pay for the fish hatcheries to repopulate the pond, then that whole entire pond and ecosystem dies.
Yep.
You know, it's the people that can pay. The people that pay for the ones that can't.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't be mad when you get caught for going out fishing when you don't have a license for it.
So you said
that's why we kind of made things monetary over here in the United States versus getting caned or whipped or, you know.
So I remember we were talking a couple days ago, and you were saying how you want to bring in transparency to government spending, and you wanted to implement a, blockchain into the state government, local governments to figure out exactly where they're spending the money. So, I mean, how would that work, though? How would you get that? So would then you take all the government's assets and put them on the blockchain? And then what blockchain would you choose them to be on? Would the government make its own blockchain, its own private blockchain, or would they use a public blockchain? Or would they use a private public blockchain?
Good one on there. I was talking about more transparency of going in and actually viewing what the hell they're spending on. Give you an example. Here in my own little town, they spent $5 million on a firehouse that is made out of cinder brick, which is like $1.20 a brick. $5 million.
Once again, he's kicked out. It's connection issues. It has. It's just ridiculous. Blockchain is a scam. All right. Well, I'm out of here, guys. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep the conversation going, but that's all right. I've been on here for too long. I'm not going to do another 3.5-hour stream. But all right, guys, much love. Peace. Subscribe to everything MOT Media, MOT News, MOT Today 1, MOT Ohio, MOT_Ohio if you're in Ohio. They don't want me to talk. It has nothing to do with that, I don't think, man. It says my connection's timed out. Might be my poor internet connection. But then if you want to support, Luis Acevedo 27 on Cash App. If not, no big deal. But yeah, and then Mick and I will be going live tonight at about midnight, so be sure to watch. Much love. Peace.